special meeting we had on a Friday night, just executive session.
I'll make the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
You guys both had a chance to look at our July abstracts?
I did.
I'd like a motion to
I'll
approve
make it.
the abstracts. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Are there any copies of the abstracts for people to read?
No, we've never done that yet. We're kind of working on that with our accountant.
Can you give us this rundown?
Read them all to you?
Just a rundown of what's going on, so we know, because we have no idea.
This is our first meeting, can you give us a rundown?
Of every bill you want me to go over with you? Is that what you're
Oh,
asking?
yeah, at least for 5 minutes.
Huh?
At least for 5 minutes.
When it's gonna be available?
Huh?
When it's gonna be available?
The abstract, well, hopefully the accountant's working on a thing like almost similar to the way the town of Mount McCain does, where we actually have an abstract every month that we can leave out for people to see. We're just trying to work that into our computer program. Anyway, as far as the bills, I mean, we've obviously light bills all over the place, sewer plant, pump stations.
What are
Street
the
light.
sewer plant bills?
Give me the folder. Sewer plant bills as far as electric?
The sewer plant bills in total for the month of July, what did it cost us to run the sewer plant?
We did not add them up separately.
Well, then what is a July abstract good for?
We just paid it by vouchers.
Okay, so
Okay.
then how many different entries on those abstracts account for what was paid for the sewer plant?
I'd have to go through there and read them all.
All right, that's
okay.
fine.
Okay, well, can we
That's
continue?
fine.
Yeah?
Yep, we're
Well,
okay.
You're okay? Oh, thanks.
Yep,
Yeah.
I'm ready.
What part of that, we'd like to get a copy of all that, sent to everybody too.
How about we do something and, this is gonna take a long time here to go
It's
through.
all right.
Please don't
We're waiting for the attorney, right?
He'll be here shortly.
Could I
Yeah.
ask one favor also, Les? When we say the Pledge of Allegiance, I believe the hats are supposed to be taken.
You know, you're absolutely right, and I did not
know,
notice
I
it.
looked over there, they're not saying it, but they don't even take their hats off.
Okay.
Could you ask them to take their hats off, even if they don't know the words? Because every time I've come, they don't know the words. I know they love America, but they don't know the pledge.
No, they don't speak English?
Hey, we're not doing this, hey, enough of that, we're not doing that.
That's what she's saying.
Look,
Enough.
we're not doing this right now.
Right.
No. For right
No,
now,
I'm just
I
asking
would
to take
like
the
to
hats
know
off.
what the expenses for the sewer plant for July were, please.
Electric was $5,555
For the sewer plant?
for the sewer plant.
That's just
Same as it was all last year. Yep.
What else?
I'm looking.
What about repairs?
We only had one at the sewer
What
plant.
about having it drained? What about having it skimmed? What about having all the diapers and baby wipes?
We haven't done any of that at the sewer plant. We have some water analysis, $140, $162.
I'm sorry, what?
Water analysis,
$162 for a water analysis?
$140. There's certain requirements in the DC that you have to do for a certified lab. Yes. What else we got? Say that again?
Do we have the results of those analyses?
I do not. They come at the end of the month in the monthly report from JCI. You can FOIL for that, I suppose. Yes. Yep.
So in the month of July, there weren't any necessary repairs?
One repair. Yeah, I'm looking for it. Yep. It was roughly around $1,200. I'm just looking for that.
And what was the reason that the sewer plant needed to be repaired?
What was the reason? There was a faulty. Just let me find the bill.
And when was the last time?
Listen, this is not a question and
When
answer
was the
session.
last time it was repaired?
What, the sewer plant?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Anything?
Answer the question. We
Excuse
just
me,
want to know
sir.
what.
Sir, it's repaired almost monthly. This is
Oh.
something that we already know.
You know the sewer plant gets repaired monthly?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
You know more than me.
I do.
Listen, on to the mayor's report.
I just
We're not doing this, yeah.
I think we're above the legal limits for.
Philip, you're here.
Mr. Mayor? I think we're above the legal limits of people allowed in here.
So what, you wanna have some volunteers?
Why should we leave? This is a meeting.
Under my marriage report, I'd like the village board to consider, I interviewed a kid, he actually did a little bit of work, just somebody to do some general cleanup around the village, mowing, weed whacking down at plant pump stations.
We know you're not here for us, but we would like to hear what you're
Listen,
saying.
can you guys stop with this?
No,
My
you're being
God.
ridiculous.
Don't you ever get tired of this? Anyway, I interviewed Jacob Gavin, I interviewed Jacob, listen, if you're gonna be disruptive, we'll ask you to leave. We are talking. I interviewed Jacob Gavin, he's a mower by trade, he's working for Town of Walkill Golf Course, he mows, he gets out of work at 2 o'clock, he'll work a couple hours a day. He works some on Main Street already, just some stuff. I'd just like permission to hire him as an as-needed basis, we're not gonna put him on as permanent, just whenever the stuff is.
What does he charge?
$20 per hour, yep. He uses his own pickup to throw stuff in, we don't have to provide him with a truck, he don't mind using it, so.
We need that.
I absolutely, no, so.
I'm sorry, Mayor, we don't know what you were just speaking of.
Talking about hiring a maintenance guy for the village on an as-needed basis.
Okay.
Just
so
somebody to mow and weed whack, general cleanup.
Pick up maybe the concrete for
Yes,
Mr. Marty's
concrete,
house?
yep.
That would be nice.
It would be, yep. So, I'd like a motion to hire Jacob Gavin.
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
At
All in
what
favor?
cost? What's the salary?
$20.
Is that allotted for in your budget?
Yes, it is.
For how many hours?
We put a number in there, I'd have to look it up, it was like 13. We have no set, it's on an as-needed basis, so it's not set on any hours.
Why is that our taxpayers' money doing that? Is that our taxpayers' money doing that $20 an hour? to do the cleanup?
Listen, this is not a question, you can have, during public comment, you can ask your
Huh?
questions, okay?
During
This is not public comment, during the public comment section,
All right,
you can ask your questions,
okay, I'll ask those questions.
okay? I just make an announcement here, on the road width to Chestnut Ridge, just so you know, with the Department of State. The developer has, redrawn the plans for the road width, and as far as for the fire hydrant, where the road width have to be wider. Sent them to our engineer, who reviewed them, or is reviewing them. He's set to have a letter to go out to the Department of State by first of the week. And we'll wait to get that letter back to see if we have any comments, and as well as wait back from the Department of State too.
In terms of making it wider?
Yes, you have to meet the fire.
Throughout the entire development?
Yes,
To code.
to code, correct. And that's all I have for my mayor's report. Board report, you guys got anything? Aaron, you wanna talk about?
Regarding the boxes, I think recycling.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I know we spoke about
Yes.
maybe doing it more often
Yep.
because sometimes, driving through, it doesn't look pretty at some places.
I agree.
I think 3 weeks, this time around it was 3 weeks without recycling.
Yep.
I think it's too long.
Recycling is a good
The other thing, just so you know, I'm bringing up a good point, I did speak to Philip about the possibility of introducing or seeing if we have something or introducing a local law about, one, making sure your garbage bags are in can, number one. And number two is if you don't put them in a can and there's garbage that gets ripped up and tore up that's on your property or in your lawns, where the village could give you a verbal notice and 24 hours later clean it up and bill you, kind of like the snow removal and stuff. So Philip is looking into that. We don't have any answers yet, but as they come forward, we'll move forward with
As
that.
well as the law that's already in effect about garbage cans, which is supposed to be removed after last
20,
year,
yeah.
which is not enforced whatsoever.
Stuff, yeah.
That might be something you want to look into as well.
But I'd be more concerned with getting them to put their garbage in the garbage pails and not having it ripped up all over the streets. So we are looking into that. Hopefully by next month we'll have something where we could move forward with that.
That's all I have.
Okay, Ripley, you got anything you'd like to speak about? All right, this time I would like to take public comments on everything except for the planning and zoning on where the two public hearings are. So if you have anything, I don't know if anybody signed in. There was 2 sign-in sheets over there. If I could just grab that from you. So, this is the one for the public hearing. Did anybody sign in on different sheets or no?
We didn't see another.
Okay, it was over
Excuse
there.
me,
Okay.
did you finish going over the abstract, or did we just go off on a?
Yeah, what we'll do next month is have copies of the abstracts, for you guys to read.
Are you going to have minutes online on the website?
Yeah, I think someone on this afternoon, they're on, yep,
There's one missing.
there's one
So-
missing, yep.
So the minutes from the beginning of your administration
There's 1 month.
until now are up to date?
There's 1 month missing.
You don't have them from April on the website.
Yeah, but I checked.
April.
April's been on.
Hey, one at a time, please, we're not getting out of hand.
The only one that's not there is the June 22nd when I was not here, that's the only one that's not on. The April was on, and it has been on, but the other two are on. The only one missing is June 22nd.
When were they?
They were,
As of yesterday, it was April.
Two went on today, and April's been on for a
April's
while.
been on.
So who, you know, let's take public comment for everything except for what the public hearings are about, please. So, I don't know who wants to talk for what. I got Danny Wise, you wanna talk about? For the public hearing? Okay, Leslie?
You know, I could say a lot of things, so maybe I will take this time and
Absolutely.
the other time. So I heard Aaron say something about the garbage, and I understand that you're looking into certain things. There's not one single recycling bin anywhere. The store throws the boxes in the dumpster, and I've seen them do it, and I have explained to them it's against the law to throw that away, that it has to be broken down, tied up, and set out for recycling. It's New York State law. So, and I know you probably don't have anyone to enforce it, but it needs to be enforced, because there are boxes now in the rain, they dissolve all over the place, and there's garbage everywhere. It looks like a dump truck exploded. It's disgusting, and that's not what we want for Bloomingburg.
I agree. I don't know, store, can you be more specific?
The store, well, there's a loading dock and a dumpster
Right here on the
there.
corner, is that where we're
Yes.
talking? Okay, I just wanna,
There's no recycling there as well, and I see it all the time, and I try to say in my best Spanish.
Can I make a
can we do,
suggestion?
One container is
Hey.
for recycling.
But there's not recycling, it's not noted
It
recycling.
is a noted recycling.
And use it.
Yeah,
Oh.
go check it out.
all right, one at a time, please. Leslie, anything else?
Hold on. So this is from someone else, but I'm using their time because they're on vacation. They want to know, how can the village accept a payment plan from the developer for the sewage treatment plan, yet be allowed to spend millions of his own money to continue the development? The treatment plan is in much need of repair. Is that in the best interest of the village?
I don't know what repair the sewer plant is in need of. We've had no issues, really, very little issues at the sewer plant itself.
Well, it was built and designed for not nearly what it is going to be used for.
Okay, but right now, we're not nowhere near
Right, so
that.
you're cutting, who? The developer of money? Yeah, they worked out some sort of payment plan, which I'm not really 100% sure of either, but, he's paying, what, $60,000 over?
Paying $150,000 a year plus the $60,000 back, or roughly $60,000 back.
And does that cover what the village has put out?
Doesn't come close.
Yeah, so that might be something that you would want to talk to your friend about and see if maybe he'd be willing to up the ante a little, considering the village lost a lot of money taking care of that plan when that was the whole reason this whole thing started. And I know that you're aware of that. And obviously,
Holly?
Well, two suggestions. I know that on the website you have information about garbage, but if people don't have access, especially new residents, to the website, then how are they supposed to know exactly how garbage is supposed to be dealt with? So maybe a mailing or a meeting? I mean, it's just a suggestion. Or, and I don't know this, but if it needs to be put out in other languages as well, why don't you do that? Because I think generally speaking, people want to do the right thing, but they need to have the information to do the right thing.
Well,
And if I can continue with that about doing the right thing. So the state sent out a letter many months ago about the fact that the villages of Chestnut Ridge was in violation of New York State fire code, which I think is pretty serious. I think that puts the residents that live in the development at risk. So I don't understand why it would be okay with the village who has allowed building to continue even though there was an action that you don't accept, even though it was within a contract that anyone that actually passed contract law would understand. But you chose not to. But why wouldn't the road itself, why wouldn't you demand that the road be made acceptable prior to any additional building? People live there. People live there with families. If there is a fire, people could die. I don't, can you explain the logic? Even if it was done simultaneously. But apparently, building is going on very fast and very furious, but people's safety has not been addressed by you, and by you. Assumably by you too. Now, I believe there was a call with the state, and we know that the state doesn't really act very quickly, it's the state's. But why have you not demanded that your residents, your community, be #1 priority of safety?
Philip? I mean, here's the deal, here's the village position, Holly. We are not issuing any COs or any new building permits. Now, weren't already issued by previous building inspector until the road widths are corrected. The construction that's going on now is permits now were already issued.
Excuse me, I read the letter from New York State. The letter from New York State said that there should be no more building as well as no more C of O's. And excuse me, but I believe that your building code inspector, Ms. Mary Grass, is taking her direction from the attorney or Mr. B, who's telling her whatever is going on there, which is don't worry about it. So maybe you need to have a serious conversation with your attorney if you care about people's safety. It is up to you to tell the attorney and that to tell them what the letter said. It said no more construction. Now, you might have made a deal with it, but you're dealing with people's lives. Why?
I don't have
Do you
anything
not
that
care about you don't care about the people's lives that are in the development?
We're not letting anybody else.
So you don't care about the people that actually live there?
They're working on getting it addressed.
They're working on getting it addressed. They have, I don't know, they're building already. Why are they continuing to build? Why first and foremost, wasn't the problem addressed? If it was your kids in the house, would you want to make sure that the firemen could get there to do their job?
I personally don't think there's a problem with the firemen getting it.
That's your opinion.
That is my opinion.
That is not the state's opinion.
Exactly why we're fixing the problem. Listen, that's, yeah.
If there's an
Oh,
issue,
one at a time, please.
so if there's,
Pat? No, I think she's next on the list. You're done?
I'm just gonna say,
So
if there's an
I
issue,
just
you're
want
gonna
to say,
take
so your answer
responsibility.
was no answer.
That's correct.
That's,
No answer.
No, actually, they put you for the
I've got-
commissioner for the rest of us to.
I cannot read this name, it looks like Mike, somebody maybe?
That's Mike Memoir.
Okay, that yourself?
Did anybody get any money out of this deal? What I-
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
It's totally ridiculous. Who got it? I know the original person that,
Hey, can we
I know
not
the
talk
original
and let this
person that
gentleman
started
speak,
this
please?
deal was the old mayor. Where's he to defend himself on this deal?
He doesn't have to defend himself.
No, we already know.
He did a damn good job.
No,
when he
he's
was-
Hey,
talking
come
about.
on, we're not doing this.
Did a good job.
Folks,
We're here. We're
folks,
here now.
Chief, please.
Dwayne.
So my concern wasn't the letter. Not only the people that live there is in danger, the firemen that goes there to fight those fires. They should be notified. And, you're putting other people's lives at risk. That's one.
including
Two,
firefighters.
why isn't the permit full? You're a builder, if you're building a house and you do something wrong or there's something not right, they come and pull the permit, correct?
Yes.
The fact remains that it doesn't matter what they issue. You could order them to pull the permits and stop until the violation's correct. What if we can't correct? Then what? Oh, it's already built.
Yeah,
To me, the safety of everybody in this community is at risk. Not just the development. I live down the road, I gotta pass there. If there's a fire at my house and the road is all clogged up, how are they gonna get there? Or your house?
Okay, Finley?
What you wanna ask?
I can't hear you. JCO. Yeah, I mean, he got a contract from the previous board, run down in October. They did it last year ago. Yep,
Can I ask a question?
we may.
In light of all the documentation that's come out about how big the expansion is gonna be, are you gonna ask for a new seeker? Because the first one was flawed.
I'm not gonna answer that.
Why? Why won't you answer?
Because I don't have to.
Mayor, I can address that question.
Okay, gotcha. Sure.
The issue of whether or not seeker is going to be reopened if and when this application comes back to the village is still an open question. So to address the question posed to the mayor, it's still undetermined.
It's
And
still
quite,
undetermined, I think he said.
excuse me, I was responding.
Can't hear
You
you.
can't.
We
no,
can't hear you.
Okay.
There's 75 people in here.
Okay, that's fine. So, once the application comes back to the village, if there are any further approvals that are required from the village, and secret needs to be opened, the determination will be made at that time based on the further approvals that are needed. So until we get the boards back, and we deduce whether or not the application comes back before one of those boards, we cannot determine whether or not secret is going to be reopened.
What application?
The Chestnut Ridge application.
But it's already determined that it's not what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be a 55-plus community with 110 children and 147 cars.
There was a decision on an application for Chestnut Ridge. How the village is going to treat that is going to be determined in the future once the boards are reestablished.
Kathy?
I'm wondering when the end date for applications for P and Z is.
We look to put a board together in our September meeting, so roughly a week prior to the September village board meeting.
So a week before the September meeting, you're going to stop taking applications for P and Z?
Yep.
And at which point will you stop the interview process?
The day of the meeting.
Okay, because from what I understand so far, interviews that have been set up haven't been conducted. So I'm wondering if you have a process in place whereby people will actually be contacted and interviewed, or if this is just gonna be one more thing that gets flushed under the desk and you hope nobody notices.
Everybody who puts their name in, I believe there's 11 on the list right now, have been or will be interviewed prior to the next meeting.
To my knowledge, nobody has been.
Good. You guys have both conducted
Some
some.
few, I'm gonna be
Maybe
addressed in the
Rivka would
next
like to
couple
give
of
me a
weeks.
list of people she has interviewed thus far.
Five people I've spoken to so far.
Could you, of the 11 people that have applied for this job, could you tell me which 5 you've interviewed so far, please?
I don't think we should, yeah.
Did you
Because you didn't really interview anybody.
Okay.
For
The-
example,
We're not doing that.
Mayor,
Listen,
Mayor,
come on.
the issue that you're talking about appointments to boards. It's a mayoral appointment subject to confirmation by the Board of Trustees. To the extent that the mayor has or has not selected his prospective appointees, it's really not anyone's place to question whether or not he has conducted
It is our
interviews or
place
not.
to question, because I pay taxes in the village, which means I pay them.
Your
I can
opportunity to have your
question
voice is at the
every
polls,
single
ma'am.
minute that they.
Hey! Calm down.
I don't know who he thinks he is. I guess like that, I cannot question it.
Lucy Maisels, please.
I wanna talk about the zoning.
Oh, okay. No, okay. Ann Taylor?
Yes, hi.
So you are the commissioner of the fire department, right?
I am a commissioner.
A commissioner, okay, and you are the mayor of Bloomingburg.
That is correct.
Have you ever had a fire in your home?
I never have.
And that's really lucky, because I have, and I know there's one other family that has. It is horrific. I'm shaking just thinking about it. How can you